of an AR-15. Let's say you shoot.
Jesus. Hey, Janie. How are you? Making sure I got some volume going on here. Yep, I do. Steve Knight. Well, romper, stomper, bomper, boo. I see Jane, Steve, Pete, Puma, Simone, Derek Crowley, Pamela, Pup 7, Caden, Lunatic of Savage, Truth Quest. Joe, how are you? Hey, Sherry. Romper, stomper, bomper, boo. I see you. What's up, Wondering Optimistically? How are you? It's a very interesting name. Thank you, Pops. Yes, I did, Joe. The World War II maps, I responded to it. What's up, Johnny? Aussie Lana, how are you? Andy Davis. Neck, what's going on? Romper, stumper, bomper boo. From Romper Room. Haha. I see you. Joe Michaela, Pamela, Troy, Kyle Santiago. No, I hate my haircut. I miss my hair. Oh, look at it. It's fucking ugly. No worries, Andy. What's up, Dis? How are you? What are we talking about tonight? Well, Derek, we're probably going to be talking about you and what you do in the shower. No, I'm just kidding. I got some pretty good experiences tonight. Thank you, Sharon. Well, truth, I don't know where you heard that from, but I have not been able to find any proof either way. And that's why I said I don't know if it's real or fake. But if it's a hoax, then there's got to be some proof that it's a hoax. And if it's true, there's got to be some kind of rumor that it's true or some kind of proof that it's true. So either way, you can't really call it a hoax without proof, and you can't call it real without proof. What's up, Fuji? Kakalina got 12 inches of hair chopped off. I got 6. My bangs were down to here when they cut them. I was like, oh, man. Hey, Jeff, you really think City's dead? I don't know what you mean, Raheem. Shut up, Andy Davis. Call me Bo. Bo the Sailor. I have thick hair. I have real thick hair. Courtesy of Big Jim. It really does grow fast, Kakalina. It really does. That's what my mom said when I went through her house this morning to check on her. And she's like, oh, your hair looks fine, but it grows fast. Yeah, Truth Quest. I looked it up, and there is that rumor of it being fake, and there is that rumor of it being true. But there is no proof either way. So what are you going to look up? It's not from a movie, and it's because distinctly movies and TV shows can't use OnStar. So they had to have used some sort of device to make it sound just like OnStar. Joe. My hair's to my butt. Puma Pete, that's an old story. That happened in 2020. That happened back in Thanksgiving time of 2020. And I called it right when I read it. That was when a lot of stuff was happening. And I think it was a lot of shit happened around that time because humanity was just stuffed inside. And it was definitely strange that whole time. What was weather? Someone said something about the weather. Just chewing on my ham bone. I heard pork marrow is pretty good. Oh, you met Victor. There was, I don't know what went on last night, but when I did the dedication video, because it was 4 years to the day that Victor introduced himself to me. And and I stated, he's more than likely deceased. And I said it like in the 5 minutes of that intro that I've not been able to contact him through text, email, calls, nor his son. And people were like, "It's so great to hear you, Victor." I'm like, holy shit, did nobody listen? Hey, MJ, how are you? What's up, Adam Condon? How are you? GG, how are you tonight? Fire Horse. Hey, Marge, how are you? Gunting Goat. I know you did Truth Quest. I know. Carl from West V. No, I hear you. I hear you, Des. I hear you. Thank you, Raheem. Thank you. It is 16 degrees. For some, I believe someone asked what the weather was like up here. It's 16 degrees, mostly clear. There may be some drunks walking by a little later offering some money because we all know that 20 bucks is 20 bucks. And well, I got the shofar with us for tonight. I got some really good encounters. I got a stack of encounters tonight. And yeah, we'll have some fun. Raheem, that's awesome. I've got a video that I want to share with you guys. It's about 7 minutes of a friend of mine in Miami. Last year, they caught some very strange flying objects coming off of each other and going different ways. I'll have to share that. I've had it for a while in my possessions, but I haven't shared it just because I want to make sure that it's perfect because it's like it's 9 by 16 this way instead of this way. Billy, do you need my email? Aw, Pops, thank you, dearie. Pops. Yeah, I didn't even look at the like button, the like thing yet. Come on, guys, hit that like button. Make me feel loved. I hope you guys had a good week. Ugh. Bah, ba-da, bah. There we go. My dad is not getting any better, my friend Derek, but thank you for asking. He is just I'm at the point where I hate to say this aloud, but I'm at the point where I'm just like I hope that he goes peacefully or he gets better within the next month. Because I know if he goes one more month of how he is right now, he's not going to get better. It's killing my mom. And JP, thank you for joining us and welcome to the channel. And it's just it's hard. I know. First of all, like we're 3 months in. We're 3 months in now. And November 20th was his surgery. And I know that if he is able to pull through and go to rehab, that he's not going to, his way of life is never going to be the same. And I hope that he can just go with God, What's up, Russ? How are you? Monty, what's going on? Frank Morris is in the house with us. Moses James, how are you? Thank you, Derek. My mom's barely holding on. That's the biggest thing is I check on her every day. I make sure that she's eating. Like today I went and got and we have like this kind of fancy Lindman, thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. No, Larry, he's not getting any better, brother. But thank you for being here and I appreciate that. I really do. Larry kicks ass, so doesn't Pups. So my mom is not she's just fucking in limbo. I make sure she eats every day. I check on her every day. They've been together for they've been married for 52 years, together for 56 or 7 years. And that's all they know is each other, So I've been thinking that. What do you think the old champagne of beer would do if I just like dribbled a little bit on his lips? My dad would come back to life like Steven Seagal in fucking Hard to Kill. He'd be like, run like a little weirdo. You ever seen Steven Seagal run? Dude, I always thought he ran so weird. And then Joe Rogan talked about him running, how weird he runs. And I was like, holy shit. Someone actually realizes that. Hey, Sandhoff, how are you? D.L. Hemingway, what's going on? $20 is $20. It's the initial phrase is, and I don't say the whole phrase because we live in a PC world, but if we were in like the early 2000s, I would yell out the window, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. It's just like a funny joke thing. Mike Patton from Faith No More was wearing a tank top that said, I'm not gay, $20 is $20. He had a big penis drawn on his arm like a tattoo. Naroshi, how are you? Simone and Charlie Knight. Good to see you, Charlie. Sean, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. I truly appreciate that. McGrew Moose, what's going on? If anybody ever wonders why I say things backwards, I do it purposely because I like our towns around here are named after the falls for like Glens Falls, Hudson Falls. So I say like the Falls of Hudson, the Falls of Glen. So that's why I do it. It's just something dumb that I do. But let's start this party off right with some coffee and a Dogman encounter, shall we? And by the way, I can no longer skip the ads. I apologize. I used to get like a little right there, under there. I'd get this little notification that said an ad was coming, and I could skip it, but no longer can I. Mammy Hall, how are you? That is a very interesting name. You guys ever seen what was that fucking movie? Things to Do in Denver While You're Dead. You ever seen that movie? Where they called that guy a mammy rammer? I'm nothing against your name. I thought that instantly when I saw your name, I was like, I thought that from Things to Do in Denver While You're Dead. That is a wonderful movie. If you've never seen it, watch it. It's great. I forget who was in it. Some cheese dick. All right, let's get on with this. Cheese dick. So the year was 2010, and there was going to be a blood moon. I rounded up a bunch of equipment to get a good picture of it. I love the moon. My favorite times have all happened under the pale light. Borrowed an awesome camera that could be attached to a telescope. Had my laptop and various other equipments, but also strapped on my 40 cal pistol because there are mountain lion and coyote in the area, northwest Arizona. Loaded all of my gear into my Jeep and headed to an area a few miles away from town. I get to this place where I'm going to set up, begin unloading and setting up everything, and I hear some nearby sheep start to freak out. Didn't much think of it, and after a handful of minutes, they went quiet again. Just as I'm unloading the scope, I hear a very loud splash, and for some reason, this caught my attention. I stood up and looked toward the creek for a few seconds, but I didn't hear anything. So I went back to setting up the telescope. Now I hear some rustling, twig snapping, that sort of thing, and I stand up and shine my flashlight around to see what I can see. Cosmic Shift, thank you for becoming a member. I don't see anything, and whatever it was went quiet. When I shined the light, very loud snap and whipped back around. While pulling my gun and shining my light towards the fallen tree that I had noticed earlier. And there it was, roughly the size of a bear, but the head was more canine, and the body was more lean. We stood there staring at each other for what felt like forever. Then it growled and charged. I screamed and fired my gun repeatedly. After the fact, I found I had fired 8 shots. It bowled me over, and I fully expected that my life was going to be over. But instead of following through with an attack, it just kept running and disappeared into the cornfield. Thoroughly spooked, I tossed most of the expensive bits I had unpacked back into the Jeep and left immediately, only going back once the sun was fully up to get the rest of the gear. When I got up there, I found a game warden, a couple of sheriff's deputies, and the farmer that owned the field/pasture. Apparently, whatever it was had killed a couple of sheep, and they were trying to figure out what it was and where it had gone to. The tracks were both canine, but also not canine. They were strangely longer than the standard dog print. What was it? Well, I'm still not sure, and sometimes it keeps me up at night. Some have suggested that it may be a Dogman, but I'm not sure. I believe in such a thing. So you get knocked over, it plows into you, and you don't believe in it. maybe it was some kind of hillbilly making the sheep, you know, where men are men and sheep are scared. Having some real disturbing experiences while working near Hoh River. I found your channel and would like to talk to you. Bear, I would like to talk to you too, because I've heard of experiences up in Olympic Mountain. I'm going to put my email in the comment section right here. Send me an email, please. In the email, make sure, like, you say, hey, this is Bear from the live stream. Don't just like share your regular name, so I know exactly who I'm going to talk to. Okay. But yeah, I've heard of many experiences in that region. A lot of Bigfoot ones, especially. So underneath Stephen Knight and above Jane Linley. Nick, what's going on? How are you? Nope, there's no updates. If there was updates, you guys would hear it during the week. And Key, what's going on? How are you? $20 is $20. It looks like they filmed Groundhog's Day. No, it's actually where Last of the Mohicans was based off of. That movie is based off of my town. James Fenimore Cooper wrote that story about my town. So definitely not built. But coincidentally, I was married on Groundhog's Day. And I swear to fucking God, it was like every day was the same thing with that bitch. Spirit Level, how are you? Hey, Jessica. No, Neck. A blue light special is not $19.99. A blue light special provided by the dreaded cryptid, the lot lizard, is usually $10. Is that it's a llama? It's a hiking company called Kotapaki. Charlie Knight. Caden, Bigfoot may pull me out of that window, and he may bring me to the gifting rock. We can only hope. He's got his travel-sized jar of Vaseline with him, though. The infamous lot lizards. Those dirty, dirty little girls. Lucifer Jesus, how are you? So we've been talking about, like, in the past, mermaid experiences. Well, I happen to find one for you all. My grandmother often shares a experience from 1965 when she visited the Karachi Aquarium in Pakistan with her family near Clifton Beach. She was 14 years old then, but her memory of an extremely strange fish sighting was quite vivid to this day. She recalls having seen a fish 1.5 to 2 feet long, a dull gray color. While it was swimming in the tank, it looked like any other fish, similar to a salmon perhaps. However, when it stood still in a vertical position, what my grandmother saw was quite strange. The eyes and mouth of the fish were placed on the underside, above the stomach and the tail, much like a stingray. Its face resembled that of a human, like a realistic mermaid. Its eyes were elongated like almonds The lips were thin and shockingly bright red. The red of the lips contrasted with the gray of its body. The top of its head was composed of fin-like structures shaped like a crown. The nose was high and pointed. She says its face was very beautiful and feminine and not creepy at all. She shared this experience many times, and every single time we have found it very hard to believe on the basis that she was merely 14 then, and thus her perception of a mermaid fish can be subjected to either a wild imagination or a flattering memory. The reason I chose to believe her experience is because her brother, who accompanied her to the Karachi aquarium, confirms the mermaid sighting. Moreover, her brother happened to visit the aquarium again 10 years later and claims he saw it once more. I've tried to search for this type of fish on the internet and found no pictures close to what she had seen. This matter continues to linger in our imaginations. At first, when I read that, I was like, whoa, Pakistan. But then I looked at the date, and it was 65. And Karachi, Pakistan, back in 65, was it wasn't like what it is now. Like Libya had a lot of tourist attractions and shit back then. So they did have a beautiful aquarium back in the day. Nick, look at you. You got a wrench by your name, Shackle Neck. What are you doing with that? I'm just kidding, buddy. What's up, Bateman? How are you tonight? But I always say if it smells like fish, don't eat it. I'm coming up in the world. What's up, Tim's Pro? E-Rev, how are you? Radio Shack is in the house. Ricardo, how are you? Derek Bailey, how are you tonight? IE Native. Romper, Stomper, Bumper, Boo. I see you. Cosmic Shift. I do as well. Vertebraker. That is a cool ass fucking name right there. That is like the best name for an MMA fighter. The Vertebraker. It's like a 1990s like Steven Seagal, Chuck Norris, bad guy. I've been all right, Don Combs. How about you? Caden needs not to worry about Dogman. He needs to worry about the white vans on his walks to Walmart. Where I live in North Wales, there's an expansive woods right opposite of my house. One day, me and my friends went to walk my dog down there on a path. At the very bottom of this wood/forest, there's a giant abandoned care home without any windows, no roof, an overgrown garden, no owner, nobody lives there, apart from birds, cats, etc. We decided to walk my dog Trixie just down to the entrance of the care home as my dog was afraid of it. She wouldn't walk any further than the driveway before she'd start to yelp and cry. Me and my friends were also scared as we were 15 years old. When we got to the bottom of the woods, there was this little boy with a scruffy dog. It was a German Shepherd, a great giant shaggy dog. At first, me and my friends took no notice of it, as, when we had first glance, we thought it was a woman, as he had his back towards us and he had long hair. He was also knelt down, so it was really hard to see his true size. But then my dog started to bark, and then his dog started to bark. The little boy stood up. Without turning to control his dog and put him on a leash, he dropped a shovel to the ground and slowly turned around to look at us. He was mumbling something, but we couldn't hear him, as he was approximately 60 to 70 meters away from us. We just stood there, not knowing what to do, my dog practically choking herself on a leash, trying to get away. Then he looked at us. His face was pale. He seemed to have no mouth or nose, just this blurry face with a pair of the deepest, darkest eyes I had ever seen. Jet black, no pupils. Well, from what we could see, his whole eyes were pitch black, as dark as coal. And this was not my eyes playing tricks on me, as we had a good long stare, me and my friends and him, for 30 seconds. We all ran screaming, my dog barking crazy. To this day, she will not even step foot there, not even with my dad. Creepy things go on in those woods all the time. Thank goodness we are moving shortly. Bruce, how are you? Myself when the wind picks me up. Yeah, speaking of wind, we had some wind rip through here earlier today and yesterday. Always carry my sidearm, your faith, and your faith. I always say that, Johnny. Always have a sidearm and a prayer. Mr. Fuji. Yeah, Belle's like about that small too, Joe. Isabel said the other day, she's like, Daddy, I'm not eating today. I'm fat. I'm like, dude, you weigh 100 pounds. She's like, yeah, I can't see my ribs anymore. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, child? I'm like, eat some pizza rolls. She did. What's up, Vang? How are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm 4'9", 125. I'm about 5'3", 115 pounds of just built like a brick shit house. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like 6 foot. Nah, she'll probably stay the same size. Like she'll probably be 5'3". Yeah, I'm about 6 foot, like about 185, 190. I think I was 125 in kindergarten. For the longest time, I couldn't gain weight. I wrestled. My high school wrestling years were 119 to 126, 9th through 12th. Guns are deadly in human society. No, they're not. Humans are deadly in human society. Guns are a tool. That's how life is. Guns are tools, just like a hammer. Hey, Rose, how are you? Nashville Douglas, what's going on? What part of the U.S. do I hear the most Dogman experiences out of? Uh, I honestly, I mean, every single state has had a Dogman experience, including Hawaii, which I just recently discovered. So, but I would say probably like it wouldn't be a state, it would be an area. So it would be a large area consisting of like the lower part of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, West Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, the Appalachia region. Yeah, I noticed that, Gigi, but there were 3 girls that did say something. Jessica was one. Andy Davis was the second. Andy Davis. Yeah, North Carolina. But that like I pretty much said that area. What's up, Rick G? How are you? Gigi, you can't forget Andy. Puerto Rico, John. Puerto Rico. I've had a couple of experiences out of Puerto Rico. Yep. It's not these things are everywhere. And I used to think like, okay, if they're earthly bound, flesh and blood, which they can be flesh and blood and travel through a portal. Um, so I think a lot of times when they've been seen on like Puerto Rico or other places, possibly the use of a portal is used. Inner city, yeah, St. Louis, um, New York City, a couple other cities as well. Washington, D.C. There's been a sighting in the Washington, D.C., Maryland region, actually, close to D.C. Yep. I've shared it. I shared it before. Yep. But you got to think, if they're using portals, they can essentially be wherever they want to be. It just doesn't fall in the realm of woods nowadays. It really takes place. I've never heard of a sighting in Central Park. If you heard that on like scary stories with whatever, that's not true. That's a creepy pasta channel. Hey, Smiling Wolf, how are you? Truth. We hear about females quite often. I got reptilian for us tonight, Ginger. Oh, okay. Then, yeah, I wouldn't. I've never honestly heard of one, and I wouldn't believe it, to be honest with you, unless Portal. Like I said, Portal, but I've never heard that. So could be. Could be. I apologize. Philadelphia, there's been sightings of them in Philadelphia at an abandoned prison. um The Bennington Triangle. Yup. That, or not Bennington Triangle. That would be the shit. What the hell? Someone just said that too. Bridgewater Triangle with the little, what are those little motherfuckers that run around there? They're little scary things. Ving, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anastasia, how are you tonight? Puckwudgie. Thank you, Puma Pete. Thank you. No puckwudgies. Little bastards. Little puckwudgies. My ex-children from the demon. Oh, Jesus Christ, Joe. Oh, my God. Well, doesn't Philly have lot lizards, Raheem? There are some lot lizards in Philly, I heard. What's that part of Philadelphia where the whole town is just like all fentanyl addicts? So check this out. I wanted to share this with you guys. Kensington, thank you. Thank you. So I know that my opinion did piss a lot of people off when it came to the Miami alien thing. Because everyone was like, well, look at all the police cars. Look at all the police cars. Moses James, thank you, my friend. But I wanted to share this. I almost made a video because Stockton, California just had a bunch of bad shit go down in Stockton, and there were almost double the amount of cop cars in Stockton that were in Miami. But there was no cryptids or no bullshit stories made up. It was like illegal shit going on, just like what happened in Miami. And there literally was almost double the amount of cop cars. And I wanted to make a video about it going, where are the aliens here, guys? Not to you guys, but I think Nate and Nick Diaz ran out there and started beating the shit out of people. Holy shit, Enki, I was just talking to my mom about bunkers. That is crazy. Well, here's something. So like many of you, I'm pro America. If I lived in a different country, I'd be pro that country. I'm a nationalist. I'm a countryman, you know. I think every person that lives in their country should have pride in their country, no matter what. But I am a Tea Party Republican. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. I don't believe in big government being in our business. But I also have Democratic views too. So I was listening to Lex Friedman's podcast with RFK Jr. And I really enjoyed that interview. And he was talking about growing up in the Cold War, growing up in the Cuban Missile Crisis. And me and my mom started talking about these bunkers that these people are building, these rich elites are building. And with what was announced the other day, what was it, at the beginning of the week, where Russia has some kind of space nukes? And of course, our government's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Don't worry. They're not building anything. We've got you covered. they're not worried because they have bunkers to go to. I think everyone, no matter what, should have a safe, secure location to go to, and stock it with freeze dried food. And, even if you like can only afford a little bit at a time, that's better than nothing. You know, find a secure place, get some, food that'll last, some water, um, some air purifier masks, whatever you need. Obviously, firearms, silver, gold. But yeah, I think we all should have some sort of um, secure place to go because our government sucks balls. What's up, James? How are you? Dude, Andy Davis, did you see what we're doing about? Dude, Elon is on the cusp. You want to know why I wasn't worried about Russia with their like space nukes? Is because we have Elon Musk, and Elon will create some sort of like whatever to say, fuck you, Russia, look at me. But he'll bore them to death and then destroy them. Well, Vertebreaker, most people can't afford a bunker. So it'd be a secure place. Yeah, but Elon would never move to Russia, even though Putin gave him an open, that's only because Putin wants Elon. Thanks, George Coker. A basement? You can turn your basement into a secure place. A panic room? Snowman Dave, did you see the video of where a guy took ramen noodles and put them under a microscope and there was mites on them? I gave up on ramens. Literally mites on them. It was so gross. Swear to God. After the live stream, just type in ramen noodles mites. And yup, and these motherfuckers will live in boiling water. They don't care. They're swimming around. It's like a hot tub for them. They're like doing the backstroke with 6 legs. Yes. Gross. Something happened to me and a buddy at the Rainbow Gathering in 2009 in Pennsylvania's Allegheny National Forest. It's right before the loads of people showed up and we were camped away from everyone else. We were alongside the main trail that goes from the parking area that leads down a large hill into a main clearing. It was dusk, so light was fading fast. So light was fading fast, and we had a fire going. We were both sitting there having a deep conversation about life, spirituality, when we decided to head down the trail to the clearing to find some food. At that moment, we were standing up. Some people who had been walking up the trail stopped to take a break about 30 yards below us. My friend says, "Hey, do you hear that?" I could clearly hear someone walking in the woods to our left. The thing is, there was nothing out that way, as we were quite a ways from the main clearing and facing the direction of all the lights and people. The footsteps could be heard coming from our left and below us, heading straight for those people who were taking a break on the trail. I looked and saw nothing where my eyes and said I should be seeing what is making those steps. There was nothing to be seen, and I could actually see where the steps were landing, leaves being kicked up. Whatever was walking up to those people on the trail who were talking to each other, and none of them noticed a thing, but the steps definitely slowed down as it made a turn going past them, like it was checking them out. Then it came straight at me and my friend. Anna was fumbling with her keychain, trying to find her little flashlight. Whatever was making those steps came right up to the other side of our fire pit without stopping. It approached slowly, and Anna pointed her light at it and said, "Hey," as if in response. It took off up the hill, right past me incredibly fast, kicking up leaves and dirt. It gives me goosebumps thinking about this. The entire time it sounded like an invisible child power walking, taking short, quick steps, and when it took off past me, still power walking, with small machine gun-like steps, if that makes any sense. There would have been no way for me to chase it. This thing was so fast, and we both took off running down the hill. I don't think it was a ghost because it did not seem human. I always lean towards fairies or leprechauns for some reason. I had a distinct impression of a little invisible dude, not realizing that it was being noticed. Glimmer Man, not a little invisible dude. You will own nothing, and you will be happy, as I own everything. Ha ha ha. Caden, always remember that story while walking in those woods, my friend. Someone's going to get you. What's up, Wilburn? How are you? Glimmer Man. Yeah, Shimmer Man makes a lot more sense too, Vertebreaker. Glimmer Man wants to go to the gifting rock, the sharing stone. Aramek, how are you? I'd have to go really deep in that, but I don't buy the whole I really honestly think it's a conspiracy theory, and I don't buy into what everybody says that whole bullshit story that people want to believe the worst of the worst all the time. So I don't buy into it. It was a tragedy. Larry and Candace, how are you? Yeah, Vertebreaker. Well, they call him like the Glimmer Man, but the Shimmer Man makes sense because that's how they're described, you know? No, Stormy Light. It's not a creepy pasta with the ramen. That's a true story. Oh shit, you got me on that. Fuck me. Good job, Stormy Light. You got me. Creepy pasta ramen noodle. Holy shit, I had a blonde moment. If there's any blondes out there, I'm not offending you. My baby girl's blonde. What's up, Ronnie G? How are you tonight? Yeah, that'd scare me too, Rick G. Lion Knight, how are you? I asked earlier, but you were busy. What are your thoughts on lake monsters like Champ? Well, I live a half an hour from Lake Champlain. Literally, when I went to the Bigfoot Fest with Mr. Shackleneck, we were right there. I truly believe that there is a aquatic creature that lives in Lake Champlain. Joe Baker, you are not late. You are here. That's all that matters. Exactly right, Steve. You know, I think I might still eat ramens, but I just got to get over the fact that I watched that video. Watch the video, and it will put you off ramens for a week, Anastasia. Jay Cortez, how are you? Jay, it was on my way to Florida. I had just gotten into Georgia. And I distinctly remember as I'm driving into Georgia, all I could think of was Forrest Gump because it smelled like shrimp. Good evening, D. White from Valdez, Alaska. Is everything really expensive where you live, D. White? Like a bag of potato chips, $20? I'm doing all right, Jay. I'm doing all right. I'm glad I'm here with you guys. I can tell you that. Andy Davis, is that for a real question? Did you really just ask me that question, or are you joking? How late is it here? It is almost 1 o'clock, George. Can you get me a Dogman pup, Jeff? Nope. And nope. Because I will keep one for myself and raise it. And I'll name it Hank. Dead end yard haunt. Dude, I swear to God, as I'm driving into, I was almost into Florida from Georgia. I had drinking the fucking chicory, which was absolutely disgusting. And I put the window down in the old U-Haul truck, and it smelled like shrimp. But there was like these mud bogs aside of me. And all I could think of was Bubba Gump. The 12-pack is $14.99. Holy crap. God dang. I could never imagine. But do you guys make more money living up there? Peach shrimp. Oh, dang. That's all I drink is soda and coffee. I got to stop drinking soda, though. I got to go on a diet. Stephanie Adams, how are you? Chicory, I don't know. I imagine chicory would taste like a lot lizard. It tasted like shit. It was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. California is talking about making minimum wage $50 an hour. What? Holy jeez. No, Jim, I cannot. Thank you, Vertebreaker. With a name like that, you could be my tag team partner, though. I probably did drive through Chattanooga. I don't know. I went down 95. I just took 95. The trip sucked. I remember stopping in a truck stop in the South somewhere, and it was before I went in that tunnel by Baltimore or whatever that tunnel is. And I stopped at this truck stop, and I locked my doors, right? And I went to sleep, but I heard people talking, and I popped my head up and looked, and there was like 3 or 4 truckers all holding hands and doing some weird shit. So I started the truck and I was like, I am out of here. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, this is not right. $20 is $20 apparently at a southern truck stop. Your buddy lives in Palm Coast. That's where I lived, in Palm Coast. It was terrible. It was flat, arid, just disgusting. The ocean was far away. Fire ants. Fucking fire ants. I got a scar right here. Can you guys see that scar? That's from fire ants. Fire ants attacked my face. Bastards. Yeah, it hurt bad. I fell asleep. I had the day off. I was getting drunk when I drank still. I drank myself to passing out in the yard. And I woke up and I felt this pain on right here. And I'm like, oh my God. And I got up and I started running. And my ex-wife is like, what's wrong? And I had these fire ants like just biting the side of my face and neck. I was like, what the fuck? I said hi to you, MJ Bates. What cryptid is the most horrifying to me? Crawlers and feral humans. Crawlers and feral humans. Hey, Lori Michelle Smith, how are you? I don't know. I've never been stung by a murder hornet, but I will never ever want to get bit by another fire ant ever. They're little motherfuckers. But yeah, crawlers or feral humans scare me the most. Ozzy snorted fire ants. Jesus Christ. This is a very terrifying experience right here. First off, I'm very nervous sharing this experience and would appreciate much confidentiality. Jeff, first of all, I'm very nervous sharing this experience and would appreciate as much confidentiality and anonymity as possible. I'm not sure if I would classify it as paranormal, but it was definitely abnormal and very creepy. I'm mostly curious if anyone else has had a similar experience in the area I feel almost compelled to share. It happened in the forests of Oregon, and there is some very nefarious happenings going on there. It was the summer of 2020, and my brother and his girlfriend had convinced my boyfriend and I to go camping for a night. My brother was really proud of this new area of land he had found and was eager to put it to use. The campsite was about 15 miles up a steep logging road above a very rural town of Falls City, Oregon, and then a good 30-minute hike deeper off the road. I've been camping off the beaten path plenty of times in my life, but this is really in the middle of nowhere. I don't think we saw a single car or another person the whole way out there. The day went well, and our night was uneventful. I awoke the next morning before dawn to whistling. There were two distinct whistles, and they seemed to be going back and forth, signaling or communicating to each other. At first, I just thought it was birds, but as I lied there listening, I became less sure of that and started to wonder if there weren't people out there with us. It weirded me out, but once everyone else was awake and breakfast started, it moved to the back of my mind. It was just birds, I assured myself. After breakfast, we're sitting around the fire when we started hearing yelling in the distance, followed by what sounded like a pack of hunting dogs. As we listened, the yelling intensified as well as the barking. I started to make out the yelling. The voice was of a young man, and I swear I heard him scream, "Help me." Until that point, me and my brother had been looking at each other, both turned in, and I told him we should go and check it out. He walked down to a clearing on the path we had hiked in on and hollered hello a few times. All the noise immediately stopped and never started up again. We packed up and left a few hours later. On that steep logging road back, we passed at least 5 cars that were heading in the direction we were coming from, deep into the forest. The road was very narrow, so you could get a good look at who was on the road with you. The cars were blacked out SUVs. The people inside were very unfriendly looking. One had a slight look of surprise on his face. I also have to mention that none of them seemed to be dressed for camping or hunting. The whole ordeal left me very spooked. I've thought a lot about what it could have been, and I really don't know. Possibly the government doing something bad up there. Nick Hendricks, how are you? Rainbow 5250, how are you tonight? Hey Tommy, how are you? Cold coffee is gross. Nothing new out of Meeker. It's been a year since anything really happened out there. Giant Slayer, what's going on? How are you? Ugh. One of our kitties is 20 years old today. Aw. Tommy, you're not late. You're here with us now. That's all that matters. What is your view on the death of my great uncle? I'm not really sure. I liked his maps. I really didn't contemplate it like that. Perfectly imperfect. Pretty much he's not here with us anymore. He's pretty much dead. I hate saying it, but yes. I'd like a copy of it. I don't want the original map. I mean, I don't want you to give me your grandfather's original map, but I'd love a copy of it. I don't know how you could do it, but yeah, that'd be sick. You guys want a reptilian experience right now? Hang on. Ugh. Oh. All right. Oh. Sat on the old nut sack again. Oh. God damn it. I gotta get one of those donuts for when I do the live stream. I keep sitting on these motherfuckers. It's that freaking testosterone replacement theory that I'm on. What's up, Kelly Mullins? How are you? Well, they're not that big to throw over the shoulder yet. Yet. Oh, gee, what's going on? In 1977, a woman in Henderson, Nevada, CH, we'll call her, claimed that her 13-year-old son and friends had gone to explore an area of Black Mountain, which has many scattered abandoned mines and caves. They hiked out across the desert landscape and climbed the foothills of the mountain until they found a cave. The narrow entrance forced them to crawl on their stomachs, using their pocket flashlights to chase back the oppressive darkness within. And they eventually came to a circular room about 9 feet across. There they found a pit in the ground, which had a crude ladder. As they explored the room, they heard what sounded like voices and far-off humming of some sort of machinery. Looking around further, they apparently came across a rusty metal door deeper in an adjacent tunnel, with a rod of some sort lying nearby, which seemed to be made of some kind of aluminum-like material with engravings on it. As they examined the rod and the strange doorway, they heard guttural voices approaching and decided to hurry to the entrance from which they had come, taking this bizarre rod with them. As they approached the entrance, they then heard what sounded like a door they could be seen creaking open, after which there was an ominous growl as a greenish humanoid creature began to emerge from the cave. The boys then turned and ran as fast as they could from this place, later telling his mom about the strange incident and showing her the rod they found. It seems the lizard man creature apparently wanted it back. That evening, as the boys slept, something very strange happened. CH would recount in a sequence of surreal events. It must have been around 2 a.m. when my son shook me, whispering harshly that someone was trying to get into his bedroom window. I hoped it was just a nightmare or his nerves still on edge. Quietly, we slipped into his bedroom and listened to the sounds of scraping on the window. He was not mistaken. In the light of the moon, I could make out a silhouette of a head, arm, and shoulder of a man. I was alone with my 4 kids, no husband to protect us, so I grabbed a flashlight, suddenly tossing the curtains open to face this thing. There was a glare from the flashlight on the window, but past that glare, I could clearly see a large head with ridges on top, other ridges from the cheekbones, and a glow from some golden eyes. My son and I stood still, unmoving. Both fear and shock kept us frozen. This lizard man didn't move either, his hand still poised in his attempt to pry open the window. His hands were large, with webbed, rough, gnarled-looking fingers and powerful-looking claws. After a few minutes, not seconds, but long, agonizing minutes with our hearts pounding, I knew I had to do something. One hand still holding the flashlight beam on his face, and my eyes still locked into those golden eyes. I fumbled around in the dark with my other hand, hoping to find something to use as a weapon. He glanced at my hand, looked back into my eyes. He turned his head a little, as if he was asking a question. He slightly opened his lipless mouth, displaying 4 of his pointed teeth, and suddenly he turned and ran off into the desert. She would later surmise the bizarre creature had come for the rod, and so she and her son decided that they would return to the cave in order to avoid another encounter. They hiked all the way to the area where the boys said they had found it and put this bizarre object by the entrance of the cave. According to the report, they just left it there and headed back. There had been no other incident with this lizard man after this. That sounds cool, Sam. I appreciate that. Well, Mark, I'm glad you're still loving my videos. I hope you never stop loving them. Yeah, lesson learned. Exactly, Johnny. Don't take shit that doesn't belong to you. Rick G, I don't drink alcohol. I've been sober for 8 years, so I don't drink alcohol or smoke weed or do anything like that. I don't even take pain medication because that's what I was addicted to for almost 30 years of my life. So thanks. Actually, April 24th will be 8 years. That's cool shit. That's cool, neck. A rabbit eared bat. No kidding. How did you get off of them? I've been on the Suboxone program for the last 8 years, and I'll probably never be off the program because of how long my addiction was. Thanks, Sam. It's to me it's a wonder drug. I'll never forget it. I was so I was 17 and I was watching Law and Order with my uncle, and he had he had moved in because he had sold his bar, and he had gone through delirium tremors and shit because he was kicking booze, and he had dislocated his shoulder and shit. And so one night we're playing Scrabble, and we were probably playing pitch and stuff, watching TV and smoking bud, and we ran out, and it was like probably like midnight, and I'm like, I can't get any more weed until tomorrow. And I'm like, that sucks. And he goes, I got something just as good. And I'm like, really? What is it? And he pulls out this bottle of Vicodin, and he goes, take one of these. So I popped it in, and the second it kicked in, I was like, holy shit, this is what my body's been missing my entire life. And yeah. Oh, Derek, good for you. I'm sorry that you had to go to prison for 12 years, but I'm glad that you're sober. Yeah, I don't like how people say Suboxone is, yes, it is a drug, and it can be used in a negative way. But if you use it the proper way, the way it was prescribed to you by, like, I have a doctor that I see once a month that I don't pay for. He's a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Yeah. And I see him once a month, and I go to counseling once every 2 weeks. So yeah, it was definitely a different kind of high. But it was like what my body had missed out on forever, Yep. OG, that's where it led me to. Funny story. And then we'll stop talking about this. But I truly believe, Jeff, have you heard of the haunted hearse of Dublin Road between Enfield and Lincoln, Maine? No, I haven't. I'll look into that. OG, so this is a crazy story. So for the last 6 years of my addiction, so for 20 years, I had used pills every day, and I stayed away from dope. And I ended up meeting this chick who I was selling weed to, and she was selling me weed back. If I had some, I'd sell it to her. If she had some, she'd sell it to me. And I said, "Hey, do you have any pills?" And she said, "I have something just as good." And I'm like, "Really? What is it?" And she goes, "My dad gets it for me, and it's like crushed up morphine pills, and it's just a concoction of opiate pills crushed up." And I'm like, "Sweet." Dumbass me for 5 years gets these little cellophane packets full of dope, thinking that it's these crushed up pills, not realizing, well, if your dad's got pills, why is he crushing them and putting them in this packet? And how am I getting so fucking high off this little fucking... So for the last whatever, I was snorting dope and thought it was this stuff. Fucking retard I was. But yeah, I'm glad and I'm proud of everyone who is clean and sober today. 19 years, holy shit! Congratulations, Johnny Vegas. Congratulations. But I'm a firm believer. See, if you think about everybody that is talking about addiction, I guarantee that the majority of us have had some kind of experience with the paranormal, whether it be cryptid or paranormal like ghosts or both or all, UFO, everything. I truly believe that our chemistry is different than those who have never had a problem with it. And we have, for some reason, people who have been attacked and mauled by these creatures, like how the media always criticizes and ridicules the people who have died. Oh, he was a drug addict. He was just a drug addict. It doesn't matter that he's dead and he was torn apart in the woods. Fuck it. I really do believe that there's a connection. Caden, you're a very smart man. Or person. You're a lovely person too, Caden. And if anybody hasn't checked out Caden's channel, you better, because Caden's fucking awesome. He is on a watch list by the government with all his freaking firearms and knives. Volkanovski got... Dude. Thank you, Ethan. Speaking of losses, Nadalny was found dead. Cannot believe that. Caden's channel is called Caden Zero. Just his name. Yes, blame Putin. But if my last name and his last name are very similar, the D and the V are pretty much the same in the Russian language. Where is Nino here, that sexy MFer? Are we missing Nino tonight? Jacob, congratulations. I bet you I'm on a watch list. Kyle. Yeah, Coca-Cola is worse than any street drug. It's hard to kick, bro. Whew. I need it in the morning. I get up in the morning and I make a cup of coffee and I grab a Coke and I walk into this room with a Coke and a coffee and Tigger fouling me. I know you did, Little Orphan Andy. I know you did. The greatest singer of the American. I'm on the YouTube watch list. Much watch my channel, but don't subscribe. I'm just kidding. Coke is awesome. Coca-Cola is the greatest soda made. Johnny Vegas, you're an inspiration. 19 years is amazing. Excuse me. Well, they didn't offer me methadone. I remember I went to rehab and this is stupid. Check this out. So 2 years before I decided to get clean and sober, I wanted to get clean and sober. So I went to rehab and I'm in the detox ward and they're like, it's time for your methadone. And I'm like, methadone? So I take my shot of methadone first thing in the morning. And by fucking group, I'm nodded out. I'm like, dumb. Just dumb. I couldn't believe it. All right. Dogman encounter. I hope the state police officer will be able to return. Yes, me too, Wilburn. Me too. This is actually, this next thing that we're going to share right now is actually an official local government filed report. So this is from Traverse County, Michigan. The situation started around midnight on a Saturday night, 2007, when the witness was coming home from a friend's house in Benzania, Michigan, and taking the back way home to Traverse City. He stated while traveling on Cinder Road, several miles outside of the town of Bendon, Michigan, he observed a pair of eyes reflecting off of his headlights ahead of him. Thinking that it was probably a deer alongside the road, he began to slow down. As he got closer, however, he stated that the object was much larger and much darker than a deer. He said that by this time he had slowed to about 30 miles an hour. and was at the point several hundred feet from the creature, which still had not moved. As he approached further, he stated that the only way he could describe the creature was being similar to that of a very large, dark wolf. However, he observed that this thing was not on four legs, but was upright with his back two legs standing near the road by a dead deer. He estimated the creature to stand a little over 6.5 feet. He stated that by now he was going slow enough to bring his truck to a stop in the road and observe the creature, which had not moved and was still staring right at him. He mentioned for a brief second he believed that the object was a giant stuffed animal put there by some kid, possibly for a prank, due to the fact that he had never seen anything like this in his life, and that he was able to drive up on it as close as he was without having it move. Before he could finish that thought, the creature then dropped to all fours, sprinting across the road and disappearing into the woods. The witness was frozen in his seat for multiple minutes, wondering what the hell he had just seen. He states, whatever it was real. As perplexed as he was that night over what he had seen, he was deathly afraid to go wandering into the woods and investigate further. The witness was asked if the animal had made any sounds before it disappeared, and he said that he did not hear it make any noises. He also was asked if it could have been a bear, and he stated absolutely not. He is a bear hunter and regularly hunts the Upper Peninsula, so he obviously knows what bears look like up close and personal. Yeah, I think diet soda spikes your blood pressure or blood sugars too. I've heard that as well. Why did you move to Palm Coast, Florida from New York? My ex-wife. Do you think dogmen run in packs? Yes and no. I think that not huge packs like these packs of wolves or coyotes, but they are possibly, yes, they do travel solo, but they do travel in like a smaller pack up to 6, 7. I think that just because someone only sees one, I really believe that there's always another one with it. About howlers, I think that's just like a name. I mean, I think you're right. Crawlers are, yeah. I think like there's so many channels out there that make their own names up to these things that that's why I stick to with what I know. And what's up, Jordy? How are you? Tina Marie. Robert Sharp did actually. Robert Sharp has, and I've shared his experiences on the channel. Yep. Crawlers. Kyle, crawlers. Rake, the creepy pasta, the name The Rake was created by a creepy pasta author named Tobias Wade. He coined that phrase in numerous creepypastas that he wrote in the early 2000s that a lot of like creepypasta YouTube channels used. Robert Sharp named his Dogman pup Rascal, and he's here every live stream for at least a half an hour to 45 minutes of it. If I had a Dogman pup, I'd probably name it Dickhead, just so I could yell at it, be like, "What are you doing now, Dickhead?" Hey, Elsa Blue, how are you? Wildman's mom. Yes, I agree with you. You know, yo, what's up, Five Rings? How are you? Elsa Blue is with us. Five Rings is with us. How many times have you been abducted? I don't think I've been abducted. Have you? Yes, Jay. Yup. I said like typically they don't run in large packs. But they do run in large packs, but not all the time. Not as recently. DJ hasn't. I gotta actually call him. I've been so busy with my mom and dad and everything that I haven't had time to. They would send me back. Lion Knight. There was a super pack of wolves that attacked a Russian village about a year or two ago. And a couple of, and it was like on the outskirts of this Russian village, similar to that of like the Alaska Inuit villages and stuff like that, Inuit or whatever. And a couple of the people that lived in the village claimed to have seen bipedal creatures running with them. Jackie Gleason ate a whole ham. I fucking bet you he has. Cosmic Shift. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. Well, Kyle, how was me saying Inuit from Alaska funny? Because that's where they're from. I don't get how that was funny. Nino, you sexy motherfucker, how are you tonight? I run with scissors. How are you tonight, dearie? Lion Knight, have a good night. Stay well. Thank you for joining us tonight. Jeff, that supervac was nuts in Russia. Those wolves were huge. They took, yeah, they did. I did a video about it when it happened. Oh, gee, thank you, my friend. Of course, Nino doesn't say hi to me. I pretty much busted a nut everywhere, saying, "Nino, you sexy." Oh, okay. A nut, a night, whatever. You know, I. You're never late. I run with scissors. If there's any nut Indians or a new Indians, I don't mean anything by saying I nut. Periodically, it happens. Nino still hasn't said fucking hi to me. Wow, you sexy motherfucker. Now he did, Gigi. You just stay out of it, Gigi. I didn't ask for your opinion. I'm only kidding, Gigi, with your angel wings. Did you already? Oh, I'm sorry, Gigi. Fuck. Shut up, Andy Davis. How about a black-eyed children's story? Actually, someone asked me what my scariest cryptid would be, and I wouldn't want to run into a feral human or a crawler. I've had my Dogman experience. I could give a rat's ass if I saw a Bigfoot, but I most certainly wouldn't want to see a black-eyed kid. They scare the shit out of me. And I don't know, really quick, if you guys heard the nah, I wouldn't be afraid. I'd kick him right in his nuts and take him to the fucking Gifton Rock. I'd be like, you got to go up there to the chubby guy that lives in Michigan that misses you at his Gifton Stone. But the black-eyed kid story that I shared last night was actually freaky because that was a weak-ass burp. So what happened was this hunter was hunting, and he had a shotgun. He's walking down the trail, probably listening to, I don't know, something stupid. No, I'm just kidding. But he's walking down the trail. He's got a shotgun, and he sees this kind of black tarp, or what he sees is a tarp, or thinks is a tarp, and he's like, what the hell's that? And all of a sudden, this tarp stands up, turns around, and it's this little pale-faced, black-eyed boy. And he says, holy shit, and starts to back away. But the black-eyed kid points to up the hill. So, and then just vanishes, just gone. So this dumbass says, wow, the black-eyed kid pointed up the hill. I'm going to go up the hill. And there's a Bigfoot in the hill waiting for him. That's scary. What's up, Craig? How are you? Jeff, you can bet anything past what you know would. No Nephilim stories tonight. I have only got a few Nephilim experiences. And I I mean, I'm not going to share creepypastas on the channel. So I have to wait until I get a subscriber that has had an experience with one, or share another one that I have. But no, unfortunately, no. Bigfoot wants a hug. No, I wouldn't hug Bigfoot. I hate Bigfoot. I don't like Bigfoot. Bigfoots freak me out. They got horse teeth. They're freaky. They probably smell like shit. Fuck them things. This happened back in the 80s when I was between 9 and 10 years old. I was the only child at this point, and my mom was a single mom. She had taken all the money she had and bought a trailer and some land and moved out into the country. We lived in a rural area in East Texas on a 2-acre plot of land. Houses were sparse and situated quite far apart, so not a heavy populated area. My mom was busy with something in her room. We know what she was doing, which was situated at the far end of the 72-foot trailer we lived in. I went into the kitchen for something and I heard a knock at the door. I went to open it and I found 4 kids standing outside. 2 boys, 2 girls. I opened the screen door and the larger of the boys asked, "Can we use your phone? We need to call our mom." I was immediately suspicious because where did these kids come from? I had lived here for a few years and knew all the kids in the neighborhood. I remember looking at the larger boy's eyes and thinking something's different about him, but couldn't quite put my finger on it. I later realized that his eyes were jet black. I shrugged and opened the screen door wider and let them in. I left the front door open as I took them into the kitchen and pointed where the phone was. The larger boy picked up the phone as my mom called to me. I ran into my mom's room and she said, "Who's in the house?" I told her a bunch of kids wanted to use the phone. She looked pissed and said, "You don't let anyone in the house. Tell them to leave." I walked out of her room and back to the kitchen to tell them to go and found the phone off the hook. The front door was still open. The screen door was closed. I ran to the door and outside to look for the kids. They were nowhere to be found. They couldn't have even had time to walk or run across 2 acres to get to the street. Where'd they go? After that happened, life was super weird. My mom was always sick, unable to find work. She became heavily paranoid and got into a damaging relationships with men. Of the most weirdest occurrences were when she didn't have the ability to pay the phone bill, so the phone company would come and disconnect the phone. However, we were still getting phone calls. I rarely ever answered the phone, so when mom told me this, I was skeptical and didn't believe her. Then one day she was busy outside and the phone rang, so I answered it. I heard a woman say hello on the other end. It sounded like my aunt. Then it just went to static. When my mom came back in, I told her what happened. She went to the neighbors and called the phone company and asked them to check the line, that our phone was ringing. They came out and inspected the line at the pole and came inside and told my mom, "There is no way you're getting phone calls. The line is completely disconnected. It's cut at the pole." This happened constantly. Even after mom moved the trailer to another city, in that city she had failed to pay the bill again and the phone was disconnected. But we kept getting calls that ended in dead air or strange voices. Their lineman told us the same thing, that there's no way the phone would ring, but it did. To this day, I really don't know what to make of all of that. But it was around this time I began to experience things like words of knowledge and clairvoyant experiences where I would know things that I had never learned. I'd hear things before they happened in physical reality. I mostly kept those experiences to myself, but it was weird. When my mom sold the trailer, we never had those weird phone calls again, and the clairvoyancy went away. Something happened to that trailer after those kids came through that door. Here are our other few experiences that I do remember. While still living in the country, I was sitting on my mom's bed next to her. She was saying, "It feels like bugs are crawling all over me." I got off the bed and walked over to her dresser, and for some reason, felt the need to look up. On the ceiling, there were spiders everywhere. This is no exaggeration. I knew my mom would freak out, so I told my mom, "Mom, please get up and leave the room." She looked at me with a look of concern and said, "Why? Just please get out of the room." She then gave me a look like I was being impossible. So I said, "Look up." I had never seen her leave a room so fast when she looked up and saw those spiders. We fumigated the house directly after that. I have never seen anything like that before or since. After we had moved the trailer to another city, some lights would either dim or get brighter and brighter when we turned them on until they literally popped. When my mom called the electric company, they sent out an electrician to inspect. He climbed the pole, and when he went to test out the lines, they literally popped him off of the pole as he flew to the ground. He was okay, though shaken. The electric company's stance on the issue was that there was miswiring at the pole. It was most likely that they missed the ground. Again, could be unrelated, but circuit breakers never tripped during these episodes. Yeah, that one was crazy scary. Hey, Brittany Brown, I didn't think I said hi to you, but hi, how are you? Derek Crawley, have a good night, my friend. Mickey Smith, how are you? I try. Rigo, what's going on? Rigo Batista. Yeah, I've never seen a black-eyed kid, and I hope I never do. But if I do, I'm gonna fucking RKO the little motherfucker. I really will. How would you about having children of the corn encounter? I wouldn't feel good, Wilburn. I would introduce the kids to cast iron pans. That's awesome. Yeah, black-eyed kids are. I mean, you know, imagine a gang of black-eyed kids, like the movie The Warriors. Just a bunch of black-eyed kids walking down the road. Can you imagine that with switchblades? Let us use your phone, little cocksuckers. Give them some chicory, little motherfuckers. It's about that time. Time is it? Oh, it's almost 2 o'clock. 2 a.m. A little shofar blowing. $20. It's $20. My neighborhood hates me. Caden, I'm calling him and sending him to your house, buddy. Yeah, Andy, that's more like a $5 freaking $5 is $5. Waiting for the cops to show up once. Play a Michael Bolton song. Play "You Belong to the Night." Oh shit. Yeah, I'll just be like, I don't know what happened. What are you talking about? And then I'll blow it in their face. I wish they'd come. I'd be like, I'm doing a live stream. You want to say hi? This is Sparta. This is Sparta. Oh shit, that's great. This is Sparta. All right, we have done a lot of scary stuff. So I figured let's do something still kind of supernatural, but not scary. And this is interesting. This was a few years ago. Was in my car with my mom on the way home after visiting a friend. It was winter in southern Canada. So there was a ton of snow and driving was hard. The car ends up getting stuck in the deep snow. For those of you who do not know, it is extremely difficult to get a car out of the snow because the wheels will lose grip and just keep spinning. Often you need to get a tow truck, tie chains on the wheels, put wooden planks down, or at least have 3 strong guys push the car out, or all the above. As my mom and I were figuring out what to do, as we had nothing to get this car unstuck, I saw a girl standing 10 feet away. She must have been crossing the road and noticed us. The thing is, I didn't see her walk up to us. She looked like she was in her early 20s. She just looked like a normal person with dark, shoulder-length hair. She was wearing dark winter clothes. She had on a toque and a backpack as well. She signaled that she was going to try pushing the car from behind. We nod. My mom tries driving out, but no luck. My mom said, "Go out and help push the car." So as I unbuckled the seatbelt, the car went forward as if there was no snow at all. As I said before, it doesn't just get unstuck. As we drove, we both turned to wave and thank the girl, but she was gone. There was nowhere she could have gone in such a short amount of time. And to be honest, there is no way she could have pushed the vehicle out of that snow by herself. We haven't seen her since, and I've always wondered who or what was that girl. A guardian angel. A guardian angel. That's a good one. Jeff, the Call of Duty game now have cryptid skins? Maybe, buddy. I've done a couple of uploads on Mel's Hole. I've heard Mel was one of the better lot lizards, though. So when you examine that hole, you better stand back. Oh, shit. Yes, this is the lot lizard caller. Wilburn, I answered that question already. I would not be happy having a Children of the Corn encounter. I heard every once in a while when you go closer to Mel's hole, you get this kind of whiff of like sulfur. Cowboy 5 rings. Haunchwick, how are you? Yes, Mel's hole definitely needs some Massengale to clean that sucker out. I've done a bunch of experiences on Shreveport, Nashville, Douglas. I've actually had a sheriff from Shreveport come on here and share an experience they had out there. Yeah, it's in Washington, Puma Pete. A gang would. I don't know the exact location, but you could Google it, Brittany, because that's what I'd have to do to tell you. Yeah, MJ, he's fine. What do you call a Jamaican? Pokemon. This one's creepy. I was deer hunting on a cold December evening back in 2005 in California. I'd walked to my tree stand at about 3 p.m. that day. My stand was about a fourth of a mile from the road, which wasn't too far. I climbed up and got settled in for a few hours to see if I could get the first buck of the year. I hadn't seen much action, and it was getting to those last minutes, I like to call them, the best time. I noticed the woods went silent, which I knew meant there's usually a large predator around. I just didn't know what kind. So off to my right side, probably 100 feet or so, I heard something heavy walking toward me. I was thinking, oh, it's probably a big buck. What I saw next gave me nightmares for months. The only way I can describe it was it looked like something right off a werewolf movie. I didn't know what to do. I was in shock, like I couldn't move. This animal, or whatever you want to call it, came within 30 yards, walking on its hind legs. Now I had my 308, but honestly, I was too afraid to move. After it went by me and over the hill, I drew a sigh of relief, like, thank God it's gone, or at least I hope it is. After it went by, I thought to myself, what the hell was that? Now, at this time, there was probably 15 to 20 minutes of light left. I didn't know whether to get down or wait. About 2 minutes later, I heard more branches and something coming from the same place the first one came from. Then I saw 3 more of these creatures following that same path. Now, these 3 were walking on 4 legs, but these things were huge. To me, they looked gigantic. If I had to guess, I'd say they were about a foot taller than a deer would be, and guessing they weighed about 400 pounds. That's how large they were. I just sat there still, so quiet that I didn't think I even breathed. I texted my buddy, who was 300 yards away, what I had seen. I don't know if he believed me or not, but I never returned to that place again. Next experience, me and my brother and my mom saw it during one of my brother's baseball games, which was all right here. Here we go. Speaking of in the city or close to the city, Me, my brother, and my mom saw it during one of my brother's baseball games, which was on the field right next to the Pine Barrens in Suffolk County, Long Island, New York. If we faced the field, the Pine Barrens were directly behind us. It was around 7 p.m. and dark out, so it was somewhat covered by the trees, but I could make out a silhouette of what looked like a human that was hunched over, trying to remain low profile, but with a wolf's head and fur. It was hunched in a way that you could tell it was bipedal and was about 4 feet tall while hunched over. It had glowing red eyes, which was the only reason that I was able to notice it in the first place, due to all of the woods being in the way. It stood about 100 feet away and stayed there for maybe 15 minutes, just watching, occasionally moving slightly to one side or another, like it was scouting us out. I told my mom, but she just told me and my brother that it was probably cars' brake lights and that our minds were overreacting and that we were both young back then, so we accepted it. When I got older, I brought it back up to my mom about what we saw, and she said you saw it, she saw it too, and saw the wolf face with the glowing eyes, but didn't tell me then because she didn't want to freak us out. I should also mention that there are no roads that led to that wooded area where I saw that creature. So it's physically impossible for a car or anything to get through those hundreds of feet of dense pine. But again, I was young, so I just took my mom's word. I've had a couple of experiences. I forgot that I had a young woman. Um, she's a subscriber. Share her experience while she was on Shelter Island. Yeah, it's 2:06. Small and sleep all day. I don't have it on me right now, Gigi. What's up, Teresa? How are you? I dated a woman who was 5'10". Holy cow. Caden, what are you, about 6 foot? Good night, Dina. um, Lori, 5'11". Lori, no animal, like it depends on how they're stacked, but I've never really heard of, like, other than a beaver. But if you don't have any water next to you, Bigfoot would do that. Nephilim scare me as well. Oh. Junior Vargas, not tonight. not tonight. Like I said to someone that asked me that before, I don't have Nephilim experiences all the time because there's not that many. People don't experience them often, and when they do, I share them. But the only way I'd be able to have a Nephilim encounter every live stream would be if I actually did fake ones, which I don't do. Dis, have a good night. Thank you for being with us tonight. I appreciate you joining us. See ya, Diff. Dis heifer here. I was. No, thank you. Wild man's mom. No, thank you. I don't watch other YouTube channels. And I definitely don't watch that one. I've been researching for 30 years. I don't need to check out other YouTube channels that I've done more work than they've done in their whatever time they've been a channel. I've researched well before I started this channel 7 years ago. Do people go out specifically to cite Dogman as opposed to a chance encounter? Maybe. Good question though. I ignorant people, John, would do that. Snoop's brother just died the other day. Thanks, Jessica. And I'm not being like cocky about saying that. I just don't watch other channels because I just don't need to. I'm constantly working and, it's just, I've been researching for 30 years. So I think that the only people that watch other channels that have a YouTube channel is to get ideas for their videos. And I don't need to do that. Giant guy in Monroe pretended to grab them. Monroe, or Tennessee, Nashville, Monroe, Tennessee. Bernice, thank you for joining us. Sitting back quiet. If I have a good question, we'll ask. Absolutely, Stephen. Junior Vargas, the organic beings. If you wanna look at like energy vampires, look up organic beings. Wild man's mom, you know so much and have proof. Write us a book. Well, write is RIGHT. And I'm working on 3 of them. I've already narrated 3 books, and my channel has 26 million views, so I don't need to do anything. Like Kumbo Baker would be the biggest expert I know, and he's never written a book. I don't need to write a book. I need time to. If I had time, I have so many ideas. All right, here's the 3 books that I'm working on. Victor's book, I've got it finished, but I've got to contact Amazon to help me get everything in order to just print it out and give it to you guys. I want to give you that book first. My book, I've got 2 books that I want to do myself, which would be all of this research on all of the attacks that have strange background stories to. That's one book. Victor, that, and my encounters that I've shared on the channel. Those would be the 3 books that I would do. And other than that, no. I just don't have time. I want to. I really do. And I'm not insulting any other channels. I just don't have time to watch other channels. And I don't have a need to. You know, I'm not saying I know everything because I don't. I learn from you guys every day. I learn more from you guys than you guys learn from me. I just can't get jaded with other channels. You know what I mean? Like watching another channel. Oh, that's a great idea. I could make a better video. No, I don't want to do that. That's all I meant by that. In the Ukraine, Ethan? Yeah, I heard about that like a year and a half ago. I just run out of time. I need more time in the day. But my kids take up, well, no, my oldest daughter's out of the house now with her boyfriend. So my youngest daughter, I homeschool her. So there's 6 hours out of the day. And then my channel is another 16 hours a day. So there's 24 hours. I sleep 3 hours a day, literally. That's it. Where did I put my jewel? There it is. Thanks, Wild Man's mom. Jeff, you already do a lot. Thanks, Tyler. Caden's got my sleep schedule. BJ, how are you? Pops, thank you, but I disagree with you because my IQ probably isn't that high. The Abenaki? Yeah. Yeah, send me that because I do have some of it on that. Literally, John, that's how, like, I have no time for anything. I don't know how I do anything. Like, at 3:00 tonight, I'm looking forward to 3:00, but then I'll be like, shit, I need to do this. I need to do that. Juul, I smoke the Juul because it got me to quit smoking cigarettes. Eventually, I'll stop using them. I'll probably be a Tucker Carlson and just use the snooze or whatever. Hills Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes is definitely a soft disclosure. Do you guys agree? Hills Have Eyes is a soft disclosure for something. That's what I think. Oh, congratulations, Lori. Congratulations. Good for you. All right, so I'm going to mention a couple of movies, and you tell me if you agree. Hills Have Eyes, obviously. The Descent, obviously. The VTV show, both, I think, is a soft disclosure. Absolutely 100%. I wouldn't say Dog Soldiers because that's more of an entertainment, but possibly, but no. Chud. Some interesting Bigfoot movies, but I've barely seen any that really interest me. Those, I think, would be yeah, Donna, homeschooling's hard. Lori just did her daughter at 18, graduated in October. Fourth Kind, yes. Yes, Sandhoff, 100%. X-Files, yes and no. Skinwalker, the TV show, no. I think the TV show, Skinwalker Ranch, the TV show is entertainment as well as that Frog Skin or Dickless Frog Ranch or whatever, because they've already admitted to that show being a hoax. Wrong Turn, yeah. Has anybody seen the Poughkeepsie tapes? Yeah, the Blind Frog Range. That is like the biggest, stupidest. Like, I had someone text me the other day or message me. The Deep. What is the Deep? Is that the ocean show? But I had someone email me, and say that I've got to look at the show. I've got to watch it. It's so crazy. And I looked it up and read and it's an actual scripted TV show. And I'm like, dude, that's like telling me Monster Hunter or Mountain Monsters is fucking real. Like, are you for real? Stop it. Where's my yardstick? The Deep. What is that? The Deep. The Deep.
The Deep is a 1977 movie directed by Peter Yates, starring Jacqueline Bisset, Nick Nolte, and Robert Shaw.
Yes. Bermuda. Anything with Bermuda, yeah. Jeepers Creepers? Probably. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Anything flying? That's scary. Did you see how I moved? That's pretty cool. I look fake. Fucking weird. Holy shit. What is wrong with me? I'm a fucking idiot. Oh my God. I'm a fucking retard. I'm going to get canceled for using that word. Oh. Wait, there you go. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I'm going to check out the deep. I'm going to check it out. Oh, here we go. Great. Hang on. $20 is $20. If I had boobs, that'd be awesome. Oh my God. All right. I need a drink. I need some water. Hang on. Okay. That's better. This is interesting. In 2013, I moved with my family into a 6-bedroom home on 14 acres in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. My dad and I noticed very weird things going on the second we moved in, but my mom and sisters seemed to not notice these things. There is some evidence that the entire area where this house was located is haunted. The area is known for its early indigenous tribe activity. My uncle on my mom's side and his girlfriend came to visit us once. They do this quite often, as my parents always have people over for beer, games, bonfires, etc. I just want to start off by saying my uncle is a non believer. I've never seen him really scared of anything or anyone. My uncle and his girlfriend are playing football or foosball with my parents when they realize that it's 12:30. So they decide to head home. They take the back roads, and once they turn onto Running Valley Road, 6 minutes from our house, my uncle's girlfriend saw two figures. They were pretty far away at this point, but it was two small figures waiting to cross the road. Just to mention, there is nothing out here, no homes, besides one abandoned that is still 2 miles up the road. One thing in the vicinity is a cave. These figures were attempting to cross the road to go into the woods, which was very odd because of the time and location. They are now approaching these figures. Headlights start to shine directly on them. Both my uncle and his girlfriend see two young girls, aged 9 to 11 approximately. One bigger than the other, wearing what my uncle describes as early 1900s church clothing, like dresses to the knees with white cotton shawls or cropped sweaters and flats. Weird, right? WTF are two 10-year-olds doing out at 12:30 in the middle of nowhere wearing church clothes. They also noticed the bigger child had her arms wrapped around the smaller one, like you would do if she was hurt, scared, or cold. At this point, my uncle's girlfriend's like, "It's kids. We need to stop and help them." Now, at this point, the truck is almost right next to the little girls. Both had their heads held down. So then the bigger of the two starts to pick her head up and look at the vehicle. Then both my uncle and his girlfriend notice the girl's black eyes. She says, "WTF was that? You saw that, right? Oh my God, turn around and go back now." My uncle was scared and took off and did not turn back. They get home, get into an argument because she wants to drive back and see what's going on. She grabbed her own car keys, and my uncle basically was like, "You're not going back there. We are never going on that road again." He calls my parents in an extreme panic and tells them, and they are starting to bug him, or they are starting bugging him because they know he would never lie or be that freaked out. My mom starts to tell me everything. Mind you, my family knows nothing about black-eyed kids, never heard of them before. I sent my mom an article that my uncle had forwarded me. Very basic information. Not cool. Not cool. Good night, Jim. it, Jim. Pippi Longstocking. That little bitch scared me too. Pippi, that little bitch. Buffy was my girlfriend. She just didn't know it at the time. Junior, I think people go to jail for that stuff. You know, Annie used to scare me. Annie, the fucking original Annie, that little bitch was creepy. That hair. Tomorrow. Fuck you. Shut up. I'd RKO Annie. Boom! She'd be like, that I'd sing that song as I'm RKOing the little creep. It's a hard knock life for you. For you. I'd offer Pippi $20. Savage Lunatic, you go to jail. Delete that comment right there, Savage. That's bad stuff right there, buddy. I'd offer Pippi $20. Jesus. Oh, goodness gracious. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. My crush when I was a kid was Clarissa Explains It All. Spider cryptids are in a movie this summer. Oh, yeah, it was the same chick, OG. You're right. I forgot all about that. Yeah. Alyssa Milano? No way, dude. She is way too on the left for me. She's just, her viewpoints are so ugly. Dude, Alyssa Milano, check this out. Yeah, she's pretty hot though. But back in the day. So Alyssa Milano is rich as fuck, right? The bitch started a GoFundMe for her kids' Little League team. Can you imagine that? Right. Like, you are rich. You are rich. Star in another movie. Pay for your own kids' Little League team. What the fuck is wrong with you? I couldn't believe it. You hate me in person. Why, are you like Alyssa Milano, Sanhoff? You wouldn't start a GoFundMe for your kids, though, for a baseball team if you were a millionaire. She's a multimillionaire. Nick. She's worth 10 million? God damn. Good night, Simone. Have a good night. Or Simon, Simone, who's saying good night? Did I miss somebody? Simon, good night. Who's Mary Elizabeth Winstead? From Manhattan, you know. I wouldn't hate you. People are entitled to their own opinions. They just can't, they shouldn't push them on people. That's the way I look at it. We're all entitled to our own opinion. That's what makes this country great. But when people start pushing their opinions on people is when shit gets shitty. Jessica Alba. Yeah, she's pretty hot. I think Mary from Seventh Heaven was smoking hot. And then when she was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, damn, dressed up in the 70s clothing. Oh my God. Yup, and yup. Yup, that's her name, Ricardo. That's her name. Does anyone remember when we thought Paul from the Wonder Years was Marilyn Manson? I didn't, because I knew his name was Brian Warner from the GQ magazine that I read back in the day. But yeah, I do remember when that rumor was going around. Does anybody remember when they said he removed his ribs so he could suck his own wanger? Like Kip Wanger from Winger? Ooh, Aubrey. Yeah, Caden. Yup. That's that girl that does the new Mountain Dew commercial, right? Where she's riding the dragon. Yeah, I knew I was right. Yeah, Caden. Yup. Dude, that new Mountain Dew commercial is great. I was like, yeah, boy. All right. I don't want to read another encounter right now. I need to take a break for a minute. Did I ever tell you about the time that I spilled beer on Christina Ricci's dad? Yep. So here's the story. I'm in Bar Harbor, Maine. I'm a waiter working as a waiter in a fancy Italian restaurant called Carlo's. And I've got my black slacks on, my white shirt, and my bow tie, looking dapper, if I do say so myself. And I go to my table and I walk up and I'm like, hello, how are you? Welcome to Carlo's. What can I get? And I notice, as I say, what can I get? That there's this extremely hot girl wearing a white t-shirt, V-neck, with an orange bra. And I'm like, whoa, she's got an orange bra. And I look up at her face and I'm like, whoa, that's Casper's bitch. And I'm fucking like, Nr. So I get their drink order and I go back and I get the drinks. And I'm like, wow, I'm still staring at her orange bra. And I'm pouring her dad his Italian beer, the Mojito or whatever, Moriato. brr, and I'm staring, brr, and I spill it all over her dad. Whoosh. Nice. So I tap him down. Everyone laughs at me, and I buy him his beer, and then I leave, embarrassed, get their food, serve them, keep staring at the orange bra because I'm 16 years old, and get a tip. I got a $300 tip for spilling beer and staring at his hot daughter. Yep. And of course, the owner of the restaurant gave me shit for the entire rest of the summer about staring, because he's like, how did you spill beer on that man? And I explained, I said, dude, do you not know who that is? I'm like, that's Christina Ricci. And he goes, who the hell's that? And I'm like, that's Casper's bitch. And he goes, who? And I'm like, Casper the Ghost. That's Casper the Ghost Girl. And he goes, and I'm like, Wednesday Addams. And he's like, oh, in the movies. I'm like, yeah. I go, she was wearing an orange bra. I go, and she's very hot. Look at her. And he goes, yeah, she's not too bad. No, orange is not my favorite color. But it's all right. Annabelle Lee coming in, tricking us. Kevin, I will be going back up when I can drive into the road to get to at least the location. I thought about doing that within the next week or two because the snow's starting to melt here. It's your pseudonym, like Richard Bachman for Stephen King, Sam. All right. Speaking of color, what is your favorite color, Jeff? I like green and blue. Green and blue. Probably. But I like green. Nino loved that Casper bitch one. That's Casper's bitch. Okay. I am sharing this experience that happened on July 10th, 2016 at approximately 6 p.m. This is not a hoax. I'm not looking for publicity or any such attention. I am not sure if what I saw was legitimate sighting, and I'm not looking for answers to help me understand if what I saw was actually an alien. So my friend, her son, and I drove from San Diego to San Fran for leisure from Friday to Sunday. On our way back, we are driving on the I-5 freeway southbound towards San Diego. We were approximately 10 minutes south of Los Banos. The scenery outside is barren with no buildings, structures, or people, just tall grassy hills and dirt roads on the sides of the freeway. I was actually trying to get some rest when my friend, the driver, said, "What is that?" and pointed to the right side of the road. I immediately look over and see this tall figure, about 6 feet tall, in thick black monk death-looking robe with a black hood. Now, this is very unusual to me since it's about 90 degrees outside in the middle of nowhere. Why would somebody be walking around dressed in a thick black hooded robe in the heat? So as we passed it, I had to get a good look at this person's face. So when I looked at it, it looked back at me, and what I saw chilled me to the bone. In this dark, heavy hooded robe was a being that looked nothing like a human. It had brownish green scales with a short snout and its eyes were large and blackish that glistened in the sun. It was unmistakable. Even at about 100 feet away, it looked right at me with no expression. It was not carrying a thing, nor did it have any equipment with it, and was walking slowly and awkwardly as if it was looking for something. I was scared to death, especially when it looked right at me. I thought maybe we should pull over and confront this thing. But honestly, I was frozen, and we kept driving. I asked my friend if she had seen what I had seen, and her 12-year-old son in the back of the car verified the same thing. Again, I'm just looking to see if what I saw was a reptilian or an alien, and if other people had seen something similar. I really wish I had pulled over and gone back and gotten some evidence or a picture, but after reading articles on reptilians, I feel I made the wise choice. Me too. I read that there may be entrances to their habitat or habitats in rural areas that may not be seen. That may indicate there may be an entrance in Los Banos off of I-5 freeway going south. I'm not sure if any other vehicles traveling down the road with us witnessed this, but it did happen, and I am willing to swear on a Bible. I also had unusual experiences that happened while I was a child that I believe was contact with grays, which is foggy, but I have some clear recollection and memories of the incidents where I may have been abducted. My mom can vouch for that and has some insight into it. But that's another subject for another time. Thank you for allowing me to share. When she described that creature, I instantly thought back to where she was, California, in that location, and I thought of the Watchers that are the Watchers of California. They supposedly wear these black things. You know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. Sand, did you guys get hit with the snowstorm? South Florida needs some snow. Sandhoff, did you guys get hit with the snow? I didn't talk to my friend who lives in the state this week, so I don't know. You guys were supposed to get hit like with 6 or 8 inches. I was hoping you guys got hit with it. New York City is a whole different look when it's got snow everywhere. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like when Brooklyn gets snow, that's sick looking down there. We drove up 90. I'm sure you should drive up here to see some real snow. Actually, we don't have much anymore. We got hit with a storm like the other night, and it was snowing like an MFer, like Nino looks, but then it went away. Wow, it's 15 degrees out right now. Yeah, that would suck when snowmobilers drive over your leach field. Wonderful weather in South Carolina. Well, aren't that just sweet? My friend, Sam, my friend works on West Broadway, and he was telling me like one night that he was working and it was snowing when I was talking to him, and he said it was gorgeous. Jeff, what is it? What are you looking or listening for? I don't know what that means. -1 in Vermont. Brr. Brr. Get the old nipples hard. When it ski, I bet you did rockin' steady. Oh, I was looking out in my living room because my daughter Isabel spent the night at her friend's house, so it's just me in the house tonight, and I kept hearing a weird noise out there. Yeah, it does, Sam. Are you close to West Broadway? My good friend works at my favorite store in the world, Double RL. 18 in Indiana. Brr. No, Tiggy's sleeping. He's sleeping on the couch right there. I can see him. He's out. He's like this. Fat little monkey boy. He's so cute. He is so cute. I got him a carrot stuffed with catnip today. He loved it. I did, Caden. God dang it. I forgot. Are you familiar with the Double RL store, Sam? South Dakota is cold. I bet you South Dakota gets real cold. Yeah, North Dakota gets it worse because it's north. All right, guys, we are 3 hours into this. Oh, you should go inside and check it out. It's awesome. It's literally my favorite. My whole class. I've got a ton of shit from there. Guys, we are 3 hours in, and I had a lot of fun tonight. Just an amazing time. So, guys, thank you again for hanging out. I really appreciate it. It's been a blast. It always is. Puma Pete, have a good night. Neck, have a good night. Sandhoff, Truth Quest, Pups, Elsa, Sonia, Romper Stomper, Bumper Boo from Romper Room. I see you. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. And yeah, I'm gonna crash hard tonight. Love y'all. This is the worst part of the live stream is ending it, but I gotta do it. Oh, good night.